Coaches, Rick Stewart with allaccesscoaching.com. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below so we can let you know when new content's been uploaded.
This box route is the play I'm going to start with, and it kind of sets the deck for everything. This is a speed dig route. It's a fourth outside step or 8-step route. Our receivers have their inside leg up. It's an 8-step route that is just an in cut with a speed turn. It goes to about 12 to 14 yards in depth. It is a read route on our timeline, okay, which means it's always going to be second in progression. So when we run this box play, let's call it box, we just go dose right box, is the play. The number 1 or widest receiver runs a box route. That's a speed dig. The number 2 receiver is going to run a return route, which is a whip route or something like that, where he's going to take 1 step, go inside to the toes of the apex player, and then push out. We consider that a rush route. And then if there is a number 3, he's going to run what we call a choice route, old air raid term, where he's running down the middle of the field, basically. And he's going to get over the Mike backer and underneath the Sam backer. Okay. And again, I'll teach this off of film. It's a little bit easier here. Okay. So here's the description. We're in a standard 2x2 set here. And again, I'll spend a kind of like the last talk. I'll spend a little bit more time on this box route and then ripple it out across all the formations. So we're in a 2x2 set here. And this is what we call the nub. If we run a pass play, the nub side automatically runs a corner arrow combination in any pass play. That's what they run. And we call this, in our terminology, a rhythm picture, meaning it's a smash concept. We're going to defender read the corner for a high-low. The corner sinks, we're going to throw low. The corner drives, we're going to throw high. It's just a defender read. Quarterback's going to take a punch step and then a full 3-step drop. You're all full 3-step drops. And he's going to read this side of the formation. We like this in particular against single high. Okay, we like it against single high. And then on the backside, we run this box route, which is a speed dig, 12 to 14 yards. And we run this return route over here. Okay, and if you can picture just a traditional cover 3 or whatnot is how we like it. We've got a corner that's going to sink, and we've got the nickel player that's going to push or sink. And we're going to just work a high-low initially on the strong side, and then work this curl flat combination is what it amounts to on the weak side. The running back is going to work protection and then check down. Okay, so ideally then what happens is if the nickel sinks here, we're going to throw off of this. Okay, we're going to throw to the return. If the nickel pushes, then we're going to look to work there. Okay, and then we're just going to hold the middle backer with the running back. Okay, that's how it's designed. It's designed as a single high beater. Okay, if we start getting a lot of too high look, okay, and again, that was just day 1 teaching. We get a lot of too high look, then we're going to tag it with an H seam route. Okay, he's going to release 2 yards outside the offensive tackle. Okay, and work a seam route. And what that does then is it gives that route is a rhythm route because it's above the hard deck at 10 yards. Okay, which means that's first in the progression. The quarterback, if he had a too high safety, is going to work from here to this second route to this third route. If there was 1 high safety and we tag it with an H seam, okay, and we've got a safety here, then I know the quarterback's going to start his progression over here. He's going to take a 3-step drop and go from 1 to 2 to 3. If there are 2 high safeties, I know the quarterback's going to start his progression on the 3-man side and go from rhythm there to read to rush. Okay. And again, I kind of went through a lot of teaching quickly because I know I'm on a clock here. I hope that made a little bit of sense. But what it did was it took this base play he only had 1 option to start. I know he has to start his progression with this rhythm picture. This is what we teach him. Okay. 1 high or 2 high, you're going to start your progression here. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. If you like it, great. If not, you're going to reset your hips, your hallway to there. If that gets covered, then you're going to reset to here, period. That's the progression. 1, 2, 3. By adding the H seam to it, now what we've said is, hey, we like this initial play against 1 high. So if you get 1 high, then you're going to start here, then you're going to reset your hallway to here, and then reset it to here in the progression. If you get 2 high, okay, if you get a traditional 2 high, now you're going to start on a 3-man side and work this progression from your H seam, okay, to your dig, to your back. Now, there are lots of variables in there that I could go over, like if this safety were way inside instead of on the hash, then we could still start here. Okay. And when we get into film, we'll kind of talk about those things. But that's our initial box play. If we were on a 3-man empty set, again, box is a 2-man combination. It says number 1 runs a box and number 2 runs a return. So if there's a third wide receiver, he's going to run a choice route, which this would be a rhythm route. Rhythm routes are defined as routes that are above the hard deck, which is 7 to 10 yards deep, that have 1 break or less. So that would be a vertical route, it would be a corner route, it would be a post route. Those are always going to be, we're always going to read from high to medium to low, okay, in our intermediate pass game. Okay, so in this case, what you would look at is if there is 1 safety, I know the quarterback is going to start over here, and then he's going to go to the dig, and then he's going to go to the return. If there are 2 safeties, then I know, assuming leverage is taken care of over here, we're not going to work this side. We would go to the choice route and work open middle to the dig, to the return. So what it did in teaching this, and again, I'm glossing over it quickly, is I knew exactly based on 1 high or 2 high safeties where the quarterback was going to start his progression based on the initial teaching. If there are 1 safeties, he's going to start on the nub side. If there are 2 safeties, okay, then he's going to work on where this seam side is, okay, or on the choice route. Now, where it gets a little bit different is if we're in an open set. So now we've opened it. Well, 1 runs a box, 1 runs a box, 2 runs a return. If you're in a receiver stance, this guy's in a running back stance, so he's going to run an arrow. So I'm basically running the old school curl flat on both sides. Now I only have 1 rhythm route. And this is why the safeties is important, which is the safeties are in our cadence. We go even or solo. So we've only got 1 rhythm option. So the quarterback's going to take 3 steps and he's going to look at this choice route. If there are 2 safeties, he's going to go from the choice to the 3-man side because 3 is better than 2. If there is only 1 safety, then he's going to go from this choice route to the 2-man side because 2 is better than 1. And so again, this terminology, what we're able to do was get our quarterback and I on the exact same page. Box route is at 12 yards, return at 5, correct. That box route based on your stride length will be 12 to 14 yards deep. Josh on that. But 4th outside step, aiming point 12 to 14 yards, exactly right. Okay. So again, using the safeties dictated exactly where I knew where the quarterback was going to go. So when we dive into the plays on this, and hopefully the film will make a little bit more sense. So you can kind of see box against different formations and kind of how we get in the same thing. It's a different way to run curl flat, basically. So here we are. And like any good cut up, the first one's going to be a screw up, but we're in a dose set. So we're going to run this basically smash concept over here. We're going to run a return route here, and we're going to run a box route here. So I'm going to start my progression over here off a 3-step drop. This is going to be 2. This is going to be 3. Running back runs the wrong route. We had an injury, he's supposed to just check down here. He pushes, but don't worry about him right now. You take a 3-step drop and you go, what the quarterback saw initially pre-snap was there's lots of grass over here. It gives him a pretty good indication where he might like it anyway. He's going to go punch 1, 2, 3, balls out. And then again, as I said in the other talk, the hardest thing to do is block in space and tackle in space. So this simple arrow route over here, balls out, gives the chance to make guy miss out in space, and it ends up being a touchdown play just based on getting the ball out to playmakers, out by the numbers, okay, make a guy miss. You can see, forget the halfback for a minute because he goes wrong, but you can see the return route at 5, as Josh asked about, and then here comes the dig route behind it. This is kind of our traditional box combination. Okay. Okay, so here we are. We're in a dose open look, or we're in a dose look. We've got the nub over here, and we tagged it with an H seam. Okay, tagged it with an H seam, and we're going to run the box, and we're going to run a return. So my quarterback has 2 rhythm options. He has the option to either rhythm this picture or rhythm this seam route, and then this is always 2, and this is always 3. Well, pre-snap, you can look at it and go, hey, the safety above the hard deck, there's no one in this tube of space above the hard deck. I'm going to rhythm that. Now, defenses aren't static, right? So they could roll coverage, they could do anything, but we're going to initially look for this before we progress to a box route. Okay. They say this stuff doesn't work because it's 7-on-7 stuff, but we love H seam routes. Okay. Right down the middle of the field, hits the back foot in rhythm. And there's the H seam route down the middle of the field. Here it is from the end zone. We got a free rusher off the side. And again, we have discussed quarterback's able to take his 3-step drop, put his foot in the ground, and still release the ball on time before a free blitzer can get him off the edge. Back foot, there's the H seam. And we are again working H seam. So now the H seam is capped. Okay, we're in an open look. Okay, we're going box, we're going return, we're going arrow, we're going box, and we got an H seam. So the quarterback, I know and he knows, he has to start his progression here. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If there's one safety, then he should go from here, okay, to this side. So I know it and he knows it. Well, safety rolls away. Defenses aren't static. So our rhythm route, we hit our back foot and we like it. And we're able to hit that rhythm route. Okay. Here we are again. I'll kind of rifle through these. Okay. Now we're in box. And if you saw the screen talk at all, we tagged it with a special. So we've got a quick screen over here. If we like the quick screen, we're going to go punch plant, rip the quick screen. Otherwise, we're running box with an H seam. So we're releasing the halfback. He should get caught by the safety. Okay. But they could roll coverage or whatnot. And then we've got the dig and the return route. Okay. That we call it box return. Okay. Quarterback doesn't like the special. We've got outside leverage here. We're below the hard deck. So the special is going to be off. So he's going to rhythm the back foot. If he was throwing this, he's got to hit the back foot and throw it. That's the timing of it, 1.8 seconds. He doesn't like it, so he's going to reset his hallway, takes his eyes, okay, his hips about 0.2, okay, to work over here, another 0.2 to reset on that dig route. So he's going to hit his back foot, doesn't like the rhythm, immediately reset. There's no, hey, wait on Johnny, hang on this, hit the back foot, doesn't like it. We've got collision, we're capped above the hard deck, reset, throw the box route. Okay, and again, when you look at the end zone of this, you can see the quarterback going through his progression. His head is on the H seam. Okay, we get walled, we capped it, his head is on it, and then you're going to see the quick reset step, boom. Takes about 0.2 to move the eyes, about another 0.2 to move the hips. And then we're going to drive that intermediate ball. All right, it's what made us from a 1,200-yard passing team to a 2,500-yard passing team.
Coaches, Rick Stewart with allaccesscoaching.com. I really hope this video helps make you a better coach. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button down below so we can let you know when new content becomes available, because we're all about coaches helping coaches. And remember, coach, better today, never as good as tomorrow.